Hey, listen up to your local DJ. You better hear what he's got to say, 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 to say,
It's trouble, just move out in the double and you don't let it trouble your brain. Cause away goes trouble down the drain. Said away goes trouble down the drain.
Talking to Mr. Seamus Haji, Mr. Big Love, Mr. Soul Love. You've remixed everybody. Probably the most well-known one that was just around for ages was the Tweet Boogie Tonight.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, I mean, it just never went away. It was around for ages, and then it turned into Booty Love. What was it about that track that just got everyone?
I think it's just a fantastic song for political reasons, whatever. The Tweet version was never released as a single, and I did the remix, and it just became such an underground, really massive in the UK and a lot of other countries. And then it's quite a long story, but to cut a long story short, Ministry of Sound had the brainwave of covering it, and they came up with this Booty Love moniker, and then they came to me and I did the remix, and then the remix I did surprised everybody because it ended up being the lead mix. I mean, I just did it for the clubs, and it ended up being the radio mix in the UK, and it just drove the record. So that was good. I mean, and the song's it's a fantastic song. It was just waiting to be released properly, I guess.
Yeah. And what else have you worked on, just so we know?
I just did a remix for the new Booty Love record, Don't Mess With My Man, which is another cover. It's a cover of another R&B record by Lucy Pearl. There's quite a few remixes. I'm flying back to finish a remix for Orson tomorrow. Something I think it's called Ain't No Party. Really great record. I just did a remix for Calvin Harris called Colours, and there's a few other things that have been bubbling out there.
But just now we've seen you kind of working some of your big tunes using lots of technology. There's lots of flashing lights up there in the booth.
It's all changed now.
It's all changed. How did you keep up with it?
For me, it was all about the turntables, and then it was like mixing on 3 turntables. That was like a big deal. And back then, we didn't really have effects. And I can remember when I first played Ministry of Sound, it was like where there was a reel-to-reel, and it was if it was set in record mode, you could actually feed it back into the system to create a delay. This is before, the FX 500, Pioneer FX 500 units and things like that. We didn't have things like that, so it's a very primitive way of doing things. Or having the freeway crossover and cutting the bass out. That was about as exciting as it got.
Yeah.
And like now, if I play in the club, obviously on most DJs, riders, they request an effects unit, or they want a mixer with effects on it. They want, CD players, obviously CDJs. And if I come to a club and I haven't got that, I feel quite naked. I feel like I haven't got the tools that I need, because things have really progressed now. And I mean, funny enough, some guys were coming up there and giving me a bit of stick, sort of going, "Where's the vinyl?" And I said, "Look, I appreciate what you're saying, but I've been doing this a long time, and back in the day when I wanted to play stuff that was really up front, I'd have to cut an acetate for £50. Now you can just, burn off a CD for 50 pence. And then also with the CD players, you can just do so much with them now. You've got especially with the Pioneer stuff, you've got the hot cues and stuff like that, and they're very straightforward and easy to use, and the effects units. And I think people expect you to do all this stuff and to see and hear it.
What do you tend to use?
I suppose I like the hot cues a lot, because you can do a lot of like live editing and the loop and the effects unit, really. I don't go mad. I just like to do things in bursts and just give a real peaks and troughs, And I suppose with the equipment that DJs are using now in the clubs, like the CDJs and the effects units, they're incorporating that in the studio. And I know a lot of people produce, they actually run stuff through the effects units in the studio. So they're taking what they do in the club and then doing that I do that a lot of the time, the stuff I'm doing, the breakdowns and the builds, it's kind of what I do in a club. So it's had an effect on productions as well. I think what's going on with the equipment is affecting the productions in the studio.
That's where I wanna be. It's in the nightlife.
When I talk to DJs, it amazes me the amount of work they have to do just as one person. But then a couple of times when I've seen you out and about, you've always got your family with you. You've got your kids in your arms, and you're always out with your wife as well. Somehow you manage to maintain the two things. How do you do it?
Well, you know, I think I've got it quite easy. I think there's some DJs out there who are constantly touring, and I just try and keep a balance, because I think, well, if I go off DJing and touring for, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks in a row, then it takes me away from the studio. And the studio is really important to me, because that's what I want to develop. So I need to be making music, I need to be DJing as well, I need to have a family life. So just balance, you know, that's what it, and also I work with my wife, because we used to work together at Defected Records, and now we've been running Big Love together for 5 years, and we work together on that side of things. So we're, you know, it's a team effort.
A lot of business going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough for labels at the moment, because everyone's, you know, vinyl sales are really dropped, downloads are kind of getting there, but where we do well, luckily, is with licensing and compilations, and there's some good compilations out there which help us stay afloat. I never got into this to make a living, you know, that's the honest truth. I got into it because I loved it, it was a hobby, and it just naturally, without meaning to, just developed, you know. And if I can carry on making a living out of music, then I will. And then we'll see, maybe I'll have to do something else in the future, I don't know. But as long as I can keep doing this, and it's what I love, and if you love your work, then it's not even work then, is it? So hopefully things will go well.